What is happening, Gothamites? K-Wing here, and today we're going to be talking about what I think about the Gotham Knights TV show and why I know it's gonna suck. If you want to know what's going on, well, you have to wait till right after this. Alrighty, so we're back, and yes, I stand by what I say. Gotham Knights TV show is going to suck. Now, the premise is actually fine. It's actually a great idea to do something based on the early 2000s Batman Gotham Knights comics that mostly had writer Devin Grayson in the beginning doing a lot of cool Batman stories after, I believe, No Man's Land. And it had different Batman characters. The premise was great. It was a comic that lasted for quite a while, and then eventually DC Comics canceled it. But it featured a lot of different Bat family characters, and it was great. Now, this Gotham Knight show is not based on the video game, so it's not going to have Robin, Batgirl, Red Hood, or Tim Drake. This is going to be something a little bit different. It is going to feature the adopted son of Batman, who will be getting revenge for the murder of his father, Bruce Wayne. Now, they don't tell you what Robin this is going to be, but I'm pretty sure that this is probably going to be Jason Todd. Adopted son doesn't really fit Damian's MO, so it has to be Jason. They can't really use Dick Grayson because Dick Grayson is currently in use by the Titan series and soon to be Matt Reeves' universe, although you didn't hear that from me. And Tim Drake is also used in the Titans universe, so I don't see how they could use Timmy, even though, you know, Tim Drake is an adopted son of Batman, so, I mean, anything is possible, I suppose. But no, the reason why I say the show is going to suck, and you can quote me on that, is because of the writing. Now, the problem with a lot of comic books today, and just comics in general, has to do with the incompetence in the writing staff. And the writers that are going to bring us the brilliant CW show Gotham Knights TV show are the Batwoman writers. And I really don't need to get into it other than that. The show is going to suck. Now, if they had other writers that were involved with the show, that would be fine. But these three clowns are the reason that Batwoman is floundering. Basically, it's the reason why the show is going to be dead after 3 seasons, because they continue to lose viewership after every episode. The last time I checked, the last ratings for the show was around 200,000 and less for an episode. And this is after they announced that Batwing is going to be like a regular in the show. So, I mean, I don't really know what they're doing. I don't know how they can take a Batman property and drive it into the mud the way they've been doing. But the show itself is just very bad. The main character, Ruby Rose, at the time when she was in the show, she was always belittling Batman, making fun of him, treating Luke Fox like a sidekick. The show was basically using a recycled version of Harley Quinn named Alice. And it was just a train wreck after train wreck. And then they got a more talented actress to come in and play Batwoman, and even she can't save the show because the show is using the same writers. So people have wanted to know my opinion since December when this was announced, what I honestly thought about it. And you could use Superman as an example, but Superman has better writers. The same clowns responsible for Batwoman are going to be the writers. And some publications actually didn't list who the actual writers were, so people were very excited about the show. But no, they're the ones who's handling it. The 3 writers from Batwoman are going to do a show that's not connected to Batwoman, but somehow find a way to ruin it. What would be really interesting, though, is if I actually see them make a good show, and then they just didn't know what they were doing with Batwoman. But no, these are the same geniuses that gave us the Batwoman show that is slowly dying, which is hilarious. So no, I don't believe the show is going to do great at all. Now, if they were adapting different stuff for the Gotham Knights show based on the Devin Grayson run, I think that the show could do very well. It had a lengthy run. I was a subscriber of the Gotham Knights Batman comics, and I thought they were great. The premise of this show, aside from Batman being dead, is Robin, or the adopted son of Batman, is running around picking up the misfit children. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to chuckle. The misfit children of Batman's rogues who are responsible for being framed for Batman's death. And they have to get together and work together as a team, so think like the Birds of Prey and some other stuff. And basically clear their names as they didn't kill Bruce Wayne. They're being framed. And that's everything that we know about the show right now. We don't know what Robin it is. It can't be Damian because they use the term adopted, and that would just prove to me even further how incompetent the Batwoman writers are, because Damian is the son of Batman, the blood son, connected to Ra's al Ghul, Talia, Bruce Wayne, and that's why that makes it so interesting, is that Damian is literally the blood child of one of Batman's deadliest rogues, Ra's al Ghul, the demon set. So the fact they said adopted son, I'm going to give them a break and assume they mean either Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, or Tim Drake. Or maybe they could be going out of left field and say, hey, the kid who was a Robin and became the Signal, Duke Thomas, is an adopted son of Bruce Wayne. Why not? Do that. That would be interesting. They're not going to, though. If they do Damian, then it just proves everything that I said is correct, that they're idiots. Sorry, I didn't mean to be that blunt. But no, I don't think the show is going to do really well. It's not going to be another Superman and Lois, because Superman and Lois actually have talented people behind it. There I go laughing at it. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. So yeah, I've known some time about the show. I just wanted to find out, well, there has to be some silver lining involved with this. Maybe they're going to adapt the brilliant work by Devin Grayson, the writer who took over from Chuck Dixon, the best Robin, Nightwing, and one of the greatest Batman writers of all time. And no, they're not going to do that. Just like early on, I don't know if you guys know this, little Bat trivia for you, but when Batwoman was announced, they had said early on that the show was going to follow storylines for famous Batman stories, and in order for it to succeed on the CW, since they couldn't use Batman for whatever reason, they were going to inject Batwoman as the star of those episodes of famous Batman stories to make Batwoman look like a superior character. And Ruby Rose, as the rumor goes, was not thrilled with the idea of them using a man's stories to build up her female character, and wanted them to adapt, I'm sorry, there I go laughing again, wanted them to do an adaptation of the Batwoman comics, which are terrible, as a basis for the stories and the characters and things like that. And, well, you know how well that worked out. So, if the rumor is true and that Ruby Rose is responsible for changing the direction of the show, which probably would have guaranteed it would have been a hit, because that's what they did with the Arrow early on, is they had Batman stories with Green Arrow at the center of it, and then eventually, of course, you know that they used the Green Arrow comics, and things improved greatly for Oliver Quinn and Stephen Amell. But early on, the show was all early Batman stories and rogues, and that's why it was successful. He was basically Green Arrow Batman, or Bat Arrow, as he was commonly known in a lot of DC fan circles. Bat Arrow was actually something that I watched early on in the beginning seasons too, but I definitely saw the parallels to Batman, because, I mean, it was very apparent. Ra's al Ghul, you had him fight the Suicide Squad and Deadshot and all this other stuff. I mean, literally, B to C grade Batman villains were in the Arrow show. So, I mean, that's what the plan was for Batwoman, and they decided against it. And eventually, because ratings dipped down to dangerous cancellation levels, that's why they brought in Hush. That's why they are doing a bargain bin Joker for, you know, the upcoming season, where basically a lot of the villains are just copycats. So, I mean, no, I'm not very excited that Gotham Knights is going to be handled by clowns. I would love to see talented people take the reins, but, you know, there's still hope that maybe some things can change. I mean, the show has just been announced. It's not going to be in development until way after Discovery takes the reins of Warner Media, or rather Warner Discovery, Discovery Warner, whichever you want to call it. Supposed to be very interesting and change the way Batman games are played for a while, featuring the former sidekicks Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and Red Hood. I don't think it's the best idea to have that as the name of a show. Maybe they should call it Red Hood and the Outlaws, or Robin and the Outlaws, considering they're outlaws. You know, you could do that. But Gotham Knights just seems like a poorly used term to do right now, considering, you know, all the hype that's going to be around it. But also it proves that Warner Brothers is incompetent, and the reason why they're doing that is they're trying to trick people based on the upcoming video game name. I love the fact that a lot of people are citing the Gotham Knights comics as an example, but when you read the synopsis for the show, you realize that it has no connection whatsoever. But it should be interesting. I have no idea when the show is going to be in development. I don't care. But you guys wanted to know my honest opinions. That's it. I don't think the show is going to be very good, because like I said, a lot of the problems with DC Comics and Warner Brothers has to do with the incompetence in the writing staff. And these writers are able to get jobs very easily compared to, you know, being filmmakers and directors, and they can really screw things up a lot easier because they're writers. So, you know, I really hope that they tighten the rope, so to speak, when it comes to storylines and things like that in the future, and that they get actually talented people that don't have liberal arts degrees writing important Batman stories. But, you know, that's just my 2 cents. But there you go. That's all I really have to say about that. Now I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about Gotham Knights? Do you think the show is going to bomb? Do you think it might actually be a breakaway hit? But, I mean, all you have to do is literally go to the Nelson's ratings and look at how poorly Batwoman performs week after week. And they haven't replaced the writers when they replaced Ruby Rose. So if that's not an indication that something's wrong in terms of the narrative, I can't help you. You're blind as a bat, and I can't open your eyes. But, yeah, that's it. That's all. Thank you so much. This is limited, but there's no way that I can be... You're in the minority of people that actually like the Batwoman show. I will pray for your soul, and I wish you all the best. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys with another Batman video in the future. If you haven't already, please check out the Gotham Knights comic books by Devin Gray for us to go over in the future. Thanks for watching. Again, I want to hear your thoughts. Try to be civil to one another in the comment section below. And I will be back with more Batman-related stuff as it develops here on the O1 channel. Your source for all things Batman in video games, TVs, movies, and sometimes comics. All right.